again, looking at exam prep, so going to go through a few questions with you today, and please again feel free to send me questions of your assignments that you have done already and might have questions around it, that we put it into a slide pack and we can work through it. So today, going to go through some of old exam papers that I have, but please, yeah, you can always share more questions with me. Okay, so, and finally sorted out my Excel, so I will, with some of the questions, introduce Excel, and we will use Excel with a financial calculator, just to give you alternative ways to get to the answers as well. Okay, so let's get into it. So first question today, Jane borrows 2,000 at a simple interest rate of 8% per annum. The amount that he owes at the beginning of the 8-year equals. So simple interest. So simple interest, remember the formula is the 1 plus RT. So that's our formula for simple interest. So let's see, he borrows 2,000, so that we have. They tell us, let's just check, interest rate of 8%, so that we have 0.08. Amount that he owes at the beginning of the 8th year, so before we start with the 8th year, so that's 1 to 7. So that is the place where they wanted to catch you out, that you work with 7 years and not 8 years. Okay, and then if we work that out, let's quickly see 0.08 times 7 gives us that we will multiply this plus 0.56. So it will be 2,000 times 1.56, which will give us an answer of 3120. Okay, which is option 2. Just again, be careful if you worked out the simple interest. That would have been the P times R times 2, times T. You will get 1120. So then you would have selected option 1. So just again, be very careful. Here they ask us the amount that he owes after 7 years. So the amount that he owes after 7 years. But just be very careful. If you've worked out the total interest that he paid, you would have gotten option 1. So, and let's quickly check. If you said 8 years, I just want to see, hopefully there's not the answer for you. Okay, so if you said 8 years instead of a 7, you would have selected option 3. So in this, there could have been nearly 2 other options that you could have gotten to, and it's not by, you can very easily get to those 2 options. So it's not really that it's like you made a massive mistake or anything. It's just if you used 8 and didn't see that actually to the beginning of the 8th year and you should only use 7, you would have gotten to 3280. And if you worked out only the interest component, you would have gotten 1120. So again, it's not, but it's like major misreading the question, small things that could make you select the other questions or the other answers. So again, just important with especially with the things that sometimes we see as the easier questions. So compared to simple interest to a annuity question, sometimes we think that the simple interest questions will be easier, but just please look out for the catches. Okay, so let's go into the next one, and let's just first read this and see. So after making a down payment of 5,000 on a boat, Mr. Clark also had to pay an additional 5,000 per month for it for 3 years. Interest was charged at 14.5% per year, compounded monthly on the unpaid balance. What is the original price of the boat? Okay, so this is quite an interesting one. So let's see, after making a down payment of 5,000, so basically he's making a down payment of 5,000. Then he is making additional 700 Rand per month for 3 years, 14%, 14.5% interest monthly. So that then basically monthly, which give you 36 payments. So what is that basic value at the original time of the bond? Okay, so we need to work with this one to find a present value here. Then that present value we will need to add to get a final value. Because remember, there's this 5,000 that you have put down as an initial payment, so that need to be added to this recurring payment that he's making to see what in total he needed to pay for the boat. Okay, so let's see. This we can work out by 700 PMT for 3 years with a payment per year or 12 times per year. That will be our interest rate. Future value is 0 because it's paid off. So let's see if we can get to the present value. Then I also just want to make sure that we can get it, work it out on Excel as well. I have finally made sure that my Excel is working, so we will just check again that also today. So 700 BMT 12 times per year for 3 years, that's 36 periods, 14.5% interest. Then I get my present value is 20,336 0.44, which is there. But remember, we need to add the 5,000, which was the initial down payment. So then your final answer will be 25,336.44. 25,336.44. Okay, so we needed to first work out this monthly, what we getting with that, and then add the other extra 500. So let's quickly see if we can do this on Excel. So we are working out a present value. This is question 2. When I share it, so we had the PMT, we had the N, then the times per year, so that we have the total periods, interest per year, but then interest for the periods. We're going to put in a future value and going to work out the present value. And with this one, we had that present value plus 5,000. So let's do that. And we see we can get the final answer. I'm just going to put in here deposit. And then we have that component. Okay, so let's see. So PMT was minus 700. N was 3 times per year, so that is equal to 3 times 12, which is 36. Our interest rate was 14.5%. The interest for the period is that. Future value was 0. So let's work out our present value. And let's just make sure we put everything in the rate. The periods per year, or in total, the PMT, the future value was 0. And there we got this, the same answer. So that was our present value that we worked out. That was the 5,000 that we paid as a deposit. So the total was then the 25,336.44. Okay, so I will share this spreadsheet with you guys today as well. Finally, my Excel is working again. So can work it with the formulas or the calculator, and also with Excel. The formulas or the calculator, and also with Excel. The formulas. Okay, so let's get to the next question. Question 3. Okay, so here a bit of something different. So what we've Okay, so what we've done with this one is, if 100 Rand accumulates to 115 Rand as a simple interest rate of 8% per annum, then the length in time in years of the investment is given by the expression. Okay, so this is not something that we've seen before nearly, what we normally will get is you just need to work out the final answer. So what we've done here is nearly to say, but start with that simple interest formula. And if you start with that simple interest formula, so that is future value is equal to present value 1 plus RT. So there is our simple interest formula. So let's start putting in numbers. So future value 115, present value 100. So it might be that there's 115, there's 100, so some of those, but we will check. 1 plus, and we've got simple interest rate of 0.08 times t. Okay, so now nothing is like that. We want to get to the t, so we want to isolate the t, but we don't want to get the final answer yet. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is divide on both sides by 100. So then it will be 115 divided by 100, which is equal to 1 plus 0.08 times t. Okay, so again, now we can see there's everywhere there's that component. Then we need to get rid of a 1. It will be 115 or over 100. That will go over, so it will become -1. So that is equal to 0.08 t. So now we can already start. Okay, there's a negative, so that looks good. Positive, so that's not going to be. Negative, so that can be. Positive, not going to be. So at least I've eliminated 2 options. And then need to get rid of the 0.08. So on both sides, we can divide by 0.08. But here, nowhere I've got divide by 0.08, but I do see there's some other things. So let's check. So I'm going to divide on both sides by 0.08. Okay, so, but remember, when we divide by 0.08, we can say, but that is equal to what is in the formula, 115 over 100 minus 1, and we swap it around. So it would have been divided by that. So when we swap it around, so let's just put that in something different. Divided by 8 over 100. So if we swap that around from your previous maths courses, we're allowed to do it, but then we need to swap. If we change that to multiply, need to change that. So we will have that t is equal to 100 over 8 times 115 divided by 100 minus 1, which gives us option 3. It's not 1 over 8, so if you look at 0.08, that is 8 over 100. 1 over 8 would have been, what is that, 125. So, yeah, they just nearly wanted there to confuse you that 0.08 is equal to 1 over 8, and that is not. That is 8 over 100. Okay, so this will be then the final answer. We would normally not do this because we would normally, well, they ask us just a final answer, that it would have been how many years. So this was one that I thought stood out for me in this paper because we really don't see this a lot. We nearly always need to just get to the final answer. So this one was something different. And again, this one will be classified under simple interest. So, and you guys know you will get 2 or 3 questions around the chapter of simple interest. So again, sometimes we think that some of the things will be easier than others, but this was a weird one and not as straightforward. Okay, then as we're still busy with some of the questions on question 1, they doing a discount rate. Okay, so still part of the first chapter nearly. So you guys will get something on simple interest that might look like the previous questions. What you might also get, and we had it last week, the simple interest that was counting days. So that might also happen. Okay, so then nearly the last thing that we haven't looked at yet is the discount rate. Okay, so Jonas needs 14,500 to buy a computer. CompuNet is prepared to lend him the money on a condition that he pays the money back in 10 months' time. The amount that he must pay back if a discount rate of 28% is applicable will be. Okay, so let's see. So first important to look at the formula. So first important that we cover that component. So S is equal to, or sorry, S times 1 minus dt. So present value is equal to future 1 minus the discount rate times t. So let's see what they give us. Janice needs to buy a computer at 14,500. So we've got the present value. We need to work out the future value. We know it's 1. The discount rate they told us is 0.28. And then they said to us, pay back in 10 months' time. So the period is not a year, it's 10 over 12. Okay, so that is what we will need to work out. So let's quickly see. 0.28 times 10 divided by 12 will give us 1 plus 0.2 and I'm just rounding it off to three or four decimals. Okay, already made a mistake there. So again, just be careful not to do that. There it was right, I said negative, but when my head went and made that positive, so I would have gotten it wrong and probably would have gotten one of the answers. So just make very sure that you don't do that mistake. I now did. So let's work this component out. So it will be 14 divided by that. So 14,500 divided by 0,7667. That will give us our future value. So if we do that, I get a value of 18,913.04. Let's hope 18,913.04. Okay, so very important, discount need to have a negative, so minus. If I did the positive, let's just see, we will probably get one of the answers as well. So if I said it's now doing something weird, let's just do that again. If I said 1 plus 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so if when I did the plus, I would have gotten that answer to the point 11756.76. Okay, so that is also scary. So if I made that mistake as I did here and said positive, I just did not read and write it over correctly. I did that. Then 11756.76 would have been my answer. So just showing again how critical it is to just get that component right. Sure. Okay. That is scary if you think about it, that even, yeah. So just making that mistake, even if I've written that down correctly, I first made that positive, then I would have gotten a different number. Okay, so rather let me make the mistakes and show you not to do in certain other things. And that's very easy to make that mistake. And again, the problem is with that mistake, I actually got an answer, which if I did not pick it up now, I would have probably gotten that and I would not have worried and went on to the next question and thought I was right. So just again, really be careful when we do some of these questions, not to, like I now did, just totally got it wrong with the formula. Okay, so also what they love to ask is changing rates. So it can be from continuous compounding, it can be from a monthly to a yearly or monthly to quarterly. So again, this is one of those that we love to ask. So we have a nice formula for this. The other one that we love to ask is moving from nominal to effective rate. So I was hoping there's one in this week, but else I will make sure but we have one for the next round. Okay, so formula C is equal to M 1 plus Jm over M. So that is if periods change. So let's see, they've given us the interest that we're working with. So it's 0,11832. They told us every 3 months. They could have, and again, some things that we will just need to learn and remember. That is also quarterly, or 4 times a year. So they could have been nicer with us to tell us it's quarterly or 4 times a year, but we don't now need to go and still work out every 3 months. But basically, it is 4 times a year. So we've got M that is 4. So we still need to work out what is Jm. That's fine. We will work with a formula. So let's do that. So first thing, get rid of the 4. So we will divide on both sides with 4. So let's write that out. That is equal to log 1 plus Jm divided by 4. Okay, so then the next step is to say, how do we get rid of the log? So in which chapter did we look at this? So if you put, let's just work this one quickly out, then I don't need to the whole time work with fractions here. So 0.11832 divided by 4. Okay, so that, if I simplify it, it will be 0,02958. Okay, and that is then equal that we could have gotten away with the log here, so that have fallen away. So we then have Jm over 4. So I can work out e to that. On my calculator, there is a ex, so I can do that. So e to the power of 0,02958 is actually 1,03. Then I say minus 1 on both sides. That will be equal to Jm over 4. Then if I take away the 4, I need to multiply on both sides, and that will give me my Jm. Okay, so then I get my Jm is equal to 0,1201, but I need to put it in a percentage. So if I multiply that by 100, I will get 12,01%, which is option 3. Okay, so, and there's not a formula on a calculator or anything like that where we can just put in numbers and work it out. This is unfortunately one of those that we will need to work with with a calculator. There's not like a magic built in where we can just get to the answer. So I think that is also um, very important in this one. There's not a straightforward one that we can go with. Yeah, so I think again, very important for these types of questions that you also know how to go with some of the formulas that we need to work out. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Question 6. So if 25,000 accumulates to 32,850 after 39 months, then the continuous compounding rate. Okay, so again, continuous compounding, we will need to use a formula. We don't have anything on Excel or the financial calculator that can work this out. So there is not a function on Excel or the financial calculator. So we need to first see what is the continuous compounding formula. So that is that. So let's quickly see what we have. We have the 32,850 as a future value. We have a present value, which is your 25,000. Then let's see, do we have interest? That is what we're going to work out. And do we have the time period? 39 months. So yes, we do, but just remember 39 months. So it is 39 divided by 12. Okay, so very important just to remember. We always want to write that in years. So 39 divided by 12 will give us the time period in years. So that is very important. So now let's, and just made an error with 10. Okay, so let's simplify a bit, and then again we will be left with this E that we will need to use some log functions again, but let's first simplify it slightly. So both sides get rid of the 25,000, and I'm going to keep that for now as 39 divided by 12. There is probably a nice shortcut, but let's first do that. So 32,850 divided by 25,000, that is 1,314. And so then what we want to do is get rid of this E. So what I need to do is, with that, I need to say, to get rid of the E, we need to take ln on both sides. So ln E C to the power of 32. And so again, let's just see if we do that with the ln, that 39 is moving in front, so it's not going to sit there anymore. It moves to the front. So we sit with 39 over 12 times ln EC, where that component basically falls away. But we need to, if we do it ln on this side, we need to do ln on the other side as well. But just remember, we need to do it on both sides. So I'm sitting here with ln 1.314 is equal to 39 over 12 times C. Then want to get rid of the 39 over 12, so I will multiply both sides with 12 over 39. So if I do that, I will get my C. So you could have already started there and changed it to a full number, but I just wanted not to have more decimals in. That just makes it very difficult for one to get to these things. So when I work this out, 12 divided by 39 times ln 1.314, I get that my C is equal to 0,08402. Then to get the percentage, multiply by 100. So my percentage then is 8,40%. They just want to one decimal, so 8,4%. Okay, so again, not really anything else we can do here by actually just working out with a formula. We can't put this in Excel. We can't put it in the financial calculator because none of those work with continuous compounding. So yeah, unfortunately, this one was one where we just needed to work with the formula and get that right. Okay, so let's get to the next one, question 7. Okay, so now the first few was simple interest. There was a PMT somewhere. Then we went into changing the different interest structures. So now it's about Nene is making monthly payments towards a loan, which she borrowed for 6 years, an interest rate of 11.8% per year calculated. Monthly is applicable. After 33 months, the interest rate changes to 15.6% per year, compounded quarterly. The amount that Nene has paid off when the interest rate changes. Sure. Okay. So let's just take this a bit step for step. So Nene is making monthly payments towards a loan of 250,000, which she borrowed for 6 years, an interest rate of 11.8% per year. Compounded monthly is applicable. Okay, so let's first do that component before things change. So we basically have a present value. That is what she borrowed. She borrowed it for 6 years at 12 times a year, so for 72 periods, and the interest rate at that stage was 11.8. Okay, so we know after 6 years the future value will be 0 because it's a loan that she pays off. So let's see what that monthly installments is that she is making, because that is what we will need to have when we check how much she has paid off. So monthly installments is, let's quickly do that. So it is 250,000 present value, zero future value, 12 times per year for 6 years. So that is 72, 11.8% per year. 11.8 interest per year. So then our PMT I get is 4861.59. Okay, so now what they want us to do is to say, after 33 months, the interest rate changes to 15.6% per year, compounded quarterly. The amount that Nene has paid off when the interest rate changes equals to. Okay, so now we will need to find out how much is basically, let's see, outstanding, or what the amount is that needs to be paid off. So let's see. Okay, this is an interesting one. Because I would have now said after 33 months, the interest rate changes. The amount that Nene has paid off when the interest rate changes. And so I would have now said 4861.59 was my monthly payments. So if I multiply that by 33, so is it by 53 or by 52? Okay, so after 33 months, so it's not the beginning of 33 months. So after 33 months, the interest rate changes. The amount that Nene has paid off when the interest rate changes. So I would have said, so that was what she's making monthly. After 33 months, what have been paid off is 160,432.33. So why do they give us the extra? Okay, so that's not 100% aligned. But why do they give us the extra information? So that Oh, okay. So it's not about, so that's just my payments. It's not the amount of the loan that I have paid off because that includes my interest as well. Okay, that's quite interesting. I'm just now trying to work out why do they give us all of this other information. So what we need to do when now is, I just want to move this. Okay, so we've done now the first part. Okay, so now what we need to say is, and let's just do a timeline here at the top. So that was for the 33 months. 6 years, so 6 is 72. A year is 59 months left. So what we should do is to work out that 39 months, that how much would have changed so that I can work out how much did I pay off. Sure. Okay, this is, I would not have nearly done that. I would have looked at that interest, but remember when you times that now by 33, it's not just that amount that you paid off, you also paying off interest. So I nearly want to know what is the amount that I've paid off the 250 without the interest component. So I want to work out nearly this piece, what is that worth at the end of that 33, because then I can say, take that component and subtract it from 250 to know what I actually have paid off, and that component will now change with a new interest rate structure, which they have not asked us to worry at all about how that will impact. So this component, we not gonna look at it at all, but I want to know at the beginning of this period actually what I have paid off. So I need to work backwards. So I need to say that present value at the beginning of a 39 period is what? So I have my present value that I need to work out. I've got my PMT, that is that component. Then I still have my interest, still stays the same. The number here is 39 periods. So we can check what that is in how many years. The interest is still 11.8 because I still want to find out before we change what was the present value. Again, future value stays 0. Okay, so that is a bit different. So let's just check what is 59 divided by 12 if we needed to get n is equal to 3.25. Okay, so we've got PMT, So that is 4861.59. We have our year, it is 3.25, so periods is 39. Our interest of 11.8 is still the same. So my present value then at that point is 156,848,15, which is also there. So those two we were able to get via other numbers. So that's the present value at that point. So how much did I pay off? The 250,000, which was the initial value, minus that. And that would give us, hopefully one of our answers, 93,151,85. And so that is the component of the loan that we actually have paid off. That times 33 gives us the 160. That is the total component, including the interest that we have paid. So if I said 4861 times 33, but that includes my interest, but I have paid as well. So that makes it the biggest size. But what the component of the loan that I actually have paid off is only 93,151,85. So again, that we got from multiplying that by 33, that we got to work out the present value, that the final answer we got by doing all the steps. So again, there is a few things in this one that we need to work out. And again, sometimes, and it's a simple diagram, but sometimes it does make sense just to draw the timeline, and that it just makes sometimes a bit easier for one to look at that. Okay, so that was question 7. So now we're moving basically more into the area of study unit 3, 4 with a compound. Yeah, so the answer is 93151,85. Spot on. So yeah, so again, this one was a bit confusing, and then yeah, they added this in, which was actually not needed at all. So that again just makes it, we did not need to know that component at all. So they could have just said to us, after 33 months, the interest rate has changed. The amount that Nene has paid off when the interest rate changes happened is equal to. So this component that was purely put in to confuse us for this question. It's different now if I had a follow-up question to this, but for what we needed to do here, that this piece was not needed at all. Okay, so let's go into question 8, and again you would see I've added some work around effective rates and continuous compounding. So again, if it was effective rate and nominal rate, one can use your calculator. But when it is effective for a continuous compounding, then we need to use the formula again. So a lot of the questions today that I've put in around the changes in interest rates is more to do with the interest rates that that you can't use your calculator later for. So let's look at this one. Effective rate for continuous compounding. So again, I will share with you guys in the next week or so my my formula page that I have added things. So I will remember to send that to you guys so that you have that formula page when we need to do any of these questions. So basically what we're after is what is the effective rate. So 100 we've got it to the power of the interest, so that is 0.175. That is minus 1. So let's do again. Calculator can now be used for the E, otherwise I don't know what e to the power of 1 or 0.175 is. I need to use my calculator for that. So I get it as 1,1912. So if I say that 1,1912 minus 1 times 100, I get 19,1246. And then if I round that off to 2 decimals, 19.12%. Sure, this is not nice that there's one as close, because one could very easily, if you guys now rounded it off and set for that round off makes it 5, that round off makes it 3. So this not great that there is one that is so close to this. Yeah, not nice. So because very easily one can make the mistake of going for the 1913. But again, please at this stage use the calculator, that we don't round off to something that might have, if you yeah. So number 3, the 19.12 is the correct one. Awesome. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So the next one is, and again, hopefully they don't do this where, and it would be interesting. So if you guys can share assignments with me on our WhatsApp group, that will be great. So that I can just see how the questions was phrased, and if they actually do ask 2 questions on the same data, because most of the time where we have this, we normally need to use question 9 to get to question 10, and that's, again, if that is wrong, question 10 is wrong. So let's just see what they've asked here. So Tracy deposits 25,000 into an account earning 9.75% interest per year, compounded quarterly. Oh yeah, let's put in, so for anyone that's not on the WhatsApp group, the link is in the chat now. So if you click on the link, you will join the WhatsApp group. No problem at all. Okay, so let's just see. So Tracy deposits 25,000 into account, earning 9.75 interest per year, compounded quarterly. After 5 years, so again, I normally miss if it's written in words. Here's the interest rate. Okay, so now we do a change in interest rate, compounded weekly. She then decided to deposit 500 every week into the account. Okay, so what is the balance of this account after 5 years? Okay, so Tracy deposited 25,000 into an account. So let's write that out. So into an account, and they say, so this is that first piece. So then after 5 years, it's first changed. So for this one, we first need to just work out how much that will be. So she's got a present value of 25,000 because that's what she deposited into the account at interest rate of 9.75 compounded quarterly, so times per year is quarterly is 4 times a year. Then after 5 years, so that means it was 20 periods. We want to find out what's the balance after 5 years, so we want to know what's the future value after 5 years. Okay, so, and here we did not have a monthly, quarterly payment. It was a once-off deposit, 25,000 as a present value, no PMT, 9.75 interest per year. Now we need to move to 4 times a year, where some of the previous questions was 12 times, so that's important. 5N, which tells us it's 20 periods, and the future value that I get is 4468.72. So let's just, okay, so Y is, see, so this, now I hope also does not, because now even, this is even with none of the above, so hopefully also, like some of our other subjects, when none of the above has fallen away, because this is really now not nice, because that is now actually our answer. So you could not even, in this exam paper of years ago, you could not even make sure now if you're working with the right one. Yo, this was terrible. So now that is the future value. Then they say, after owning this account for 9 years, Tracy decides to close it. The amount of money that Tracy can expect to withdraw then equals to. Okay, so what we need to now do is there's now two components. So this one that continues. So this one, after 5 years, the interest rate change, and it's 10% per year compounded weekly. So this now is our new present value. Then it changed to interest rate of 10%, compounded weekly. So now times per year is 52. It's still, now let's see, n. So after 9 years, so that's after 5, so that's 4. So 52 times 4, that looks like 208 periods. We'll just check that again. Interest, premium, that present value is going to be that one. Okay, so let's see then just for that purple component, this is still just that purple component, what our future value will be after 9 years. So just for that purple component, so we had the 4468.72, so that now becomes your present value. I'm not to this one gonna add now that 500. I'm gonna do it separately. Then your interest rate is 10% for 52 times per year for 4 years. So that gives you 208 periods. So my future value on that component is 6349.05. Okay, so you could have now said in that calculation, add the 500 to it and then get to a total answer. But I just first wanted to show you guys just on that purple component what the future value will be after 9 years, that we've nearly split it out a bit. And then now let's see with this interest rate change, she deposited another extra 500 Rand in. Okay, so now that is just, when we do that, we also need to work out the future value of that. That is now for just that extra annuity that she pays. So for that, we have a PMT of 500, and that's why I said you could have added the PMT with that calculation, but then if one makes a mistake, one doesn't know where to go and fix it, because yeah, the rest is the same. So the interest rate is 10, the PMT, the periods per year, it's also still 52 because she deposited in every week for 4 years. So all of that stays the same. So we could have combined it, but for me, I wanted to keep it separate. So let's see, PMT of minus 500, interest rate is 10, 52 times per year for 4 years. So if we work out the future value of that, we get 127,725.46, which is there. But then we need to add the two, so 60,349.05, and we get the 188,074.51. Okay, but so I've just split it out for you guys, but at this stage, let me quickly check. So if we set present value is 4468.72, we set a PMT is 500 with all of that information. Let's just see what we actually do get. So 4468.72 on the calculators as present value, 500 as PMT, 10% interest for 52 weeks for 4 years. So it's 208. Future value will be 188,074.51. Okay, so we could have done it in one as well, where we have that as the present value, PMT, so just that is for 500, for interest rate of 10% at the periods or times per years 52, for 4 years, and that answer will actually also then give you that. So you could have split it up like I did, add the two, you get that one. You could put it all together in one, work it out, and you will also get option 5. So again, there is different ways that you can get to the same answer in this one. So again, whatever is easiest for you, please use that. Sometimes, yeah, it is confusing to put everything together. But if you find with doing that, it is also you will get the same answer. Okay, so let's get to the next question. But again, and that's why it would be good to see also some of your assignments, because if you got question 9 wrong, this one is also wrong. And it's not like this was way back where you've written it out. So when the student, yes, it was multiple choice, but when the lecturer marked, he could see what your mistakes was, and you could have gotten extra points. So I just want to see again how some of these questions are currently asked in your assignments. Okay, so let's look at this next one. So Jonathan bought a 107 centimeter plasma screen TV. He agrees to immediately, and they even did italics on it to show you. So immediately, that tells me begin. So that tells me automatically we need to look at the begin function. Okay. So Jonathan bought a 107 centimeter plasma screen TV. He agrees to immediately start to pay 1,403 Rand per month. The term of the agreement is 24 months, and the applicable interest rate is 20,124 per year, compounded monthly. What is the original price of the television set? Okay, so we need to work out a present value. That is what we need to get to. So important on the calculator, begin. This one we're going to do on Excel as well, because I want to show you where you can on Excel change the begin function. It's built into the formula, so that's actually quite cool. Then we've got a PMT of 1403. The period agreement is 24 months, so we know it's 12 times a year. So n will be equal to 2 to get to that 24. Our interest is massive, 20,124%, and paying it off, so future value is 0. Okay, so let's first do it on the calculator, then I'll go over to Excel. So remember the begin, so there is on my HP, there is a BEG function that shows the begin function. So we change that. Then we say 1403 as your PMT. I just put in 0 future value so that it erases what was in there. It's 12 times a year, so that we now need to change. It's not as in the previous question 52 again, but 12 times a year for 2 years, which is for 24 periods, at a 20.124% interest. And then that will give us the present value of 27,995, 08, 27,995,08. So if you have not used the begin function and we worked it out with that, your present value would have been 27,533,2 or 34. So if we did not do begin, you would have had option 2. So again, just showing how important it is to and they've italics it also for you that we should have seen there's something in there. Okay, so let's quickly just show you guys on Excel also how to do this. So we're going to work out the present value with the begin function. Okay, so let's see, we've got PMT. So a few things will, as I update, will change. So we've got 1403. We've got 2 times per year, 12, or sorry, for 2 years, 12 times a year, that's 24 periods. So you can see automatically it updated for certain things. Our interest rate is 20.124%. Future value 0. So at this point, that would have needed to work it out. So there you see actually, and let's take that away, that we've got our normal one, 27,533 point. Okay, so let's go into that function. and look at, here's a type. So if I say type, I can't make that bigger, but where it says type is a logic value, payment at the beginning of period, you put 1, payment at the end of a period, you put a 0 or you omit it. I've always just omitted it. So if we say 1, because that says the beginning of a period, automatically it changes to what we need, the 27995,05. Oh, sorry, 08. Okay, so in Excel, the place where you would change it is in that formula. If it is a 0, it brings you to the normal one. If we change it to 1, it takes you to the begin function. Okay, so that is in Excel. So I will share with you guys the Excel today as well. So again, you can see how nice it was to use Excel and in this one. Okay, so let's look at the next one, and I think it might be the last one for today. Okay, so question 12, and here there's again something interesting. So we need to move it from simple interest to simple discount. So we would have needed to do this. So simple interest is this formula. So that would be your normal simple interest formula. Simple discount is this formula. So if we wanted to move the interest rates into line with one another, we now need to say, firstly, okay, I need to make that both are S or both are D, or you can say, because P is equal to P, we can substitute. So there's a few things that we could have done. So I could have said, keep that S, but that P, I'm going to replace in there. So I'm going to replace it with this formula. So I went through this whole process last semester with the students. And then they said to me, but John, if you just go to your study guide, in your study guide, it was set up for you guys already. So I missed it totally that there was a portion in your study guide that did the same thing. S is equal to P 1 plus RT and that. And when you actually come to the thing that I would have now done, and I've worked it out. It is to get from this stage to there, it takes you 12 steps, which is actually ridiculous. So it is in your study guide. So please check. We'll go and look on the page where it was in the study guide. Let me quickly it is a simple discount. I just quickly want to, because I know I've seen it in the study guide. If anybody knows where it is, then you can also put it in the chat, but I will quickly just page for it because it was where it would have been in. Okay, I'm gonna look for it where it is in the study guide, and I will share it with you guys with page numbers and everything. But when I looked at this, I'm like, okay, this is actually not too bad at all, because now it says that was my interest of the one, that's the discount. So here is what I need to do. So I just want to count. So from there to get to that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 steps. So from that point to that point is 9 steps, and from that point to that point is another 1, 2, 3 steps. So again, this is not something that you only want to do in the exam to nearly say, okay, now we need to work this out. So you can just use it now as well. You don't need to be able to go through that all those steps. So you are allowed to just use the formulas. So let's do that. So we've got the T, and it is written here as well. But it's one, they tell us the discount rate is 0.075. They tell us the interest rate is 0.096, and that we will need to divide by a discount rate of 0.075. Okay, so let's work that component out first. So it is 0.075 divided by 0.0968. And if I subtract that from 1, I get 0.23. 0.23 divided by 0.075. I get, if I round it off to 4 decimals, 3,0028. So that will tell me I've got 3 years. Okay, I'm going to put in here for you guys also the steps, so that you can just see all the steps that is needed. I will also just check where it is in the study guide, so that you also have that. But yeah, so sometimes things are hidden in a sense in the study guide that we don't always need to take time to get to it. But yeah, I will share with you so that we can just make 100% sure that again you have it, so that when it comes to the exam, that's luckily still a few weeks away, we make sure that everything is covered. Okay, so that is it for today, everyone. Thanks for joining again on a Saturday and being able to spend your time going through this. I will again share the recording with you guys on the WhatsApp group. I will share the presentation with you, and then